From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Dangerous conditions will build for more than 250 million people in the central and eastern U.S. this week, including the 4th of July, as days of extreme temperatures, high humidity, and intense sunshine combine under a massive heat dome. The heat wave will bring the hottest weather so far this year for many, and in some cases the worst in years. New York City is expected to experience its sixth worst heat wave since 2000, with temperatures in Central Park potentially reaching 100 degrees for the first time in more than a decade. Actual high temperatures are forecast to range from 90 to 105 in most areas, from the plains to the western slopes of the Appalachians early this week, and from the plains to the Atlantic and Gulf coasts from Wednesday to July 4th. Temperatures this week will be 10 to 20 degrees above the 30-year historical average in nearly 36 states in late June and early July. AccuWeather's Alan Reppert said that the extreme heat and humidity are expected to bring near-record or possibly record energy usage to the Mid-Atlantic power providers. Now, this is especially critical on Thursday, as some companies could see possible power cuts to stabilize the grid if it becomes unstable. Record warm nighttime lows will be set, along with daily record highs. New York City may have 3 consecutive nights with temperatures not dropping below 80, which is very rare. As the sun beats down on pavement and brick buildings, these surfaces absorb heat during the day and slowly release it at night, making conditions in urban cities unbearable, if not life-threatening, without air conditioning. Temperatures in many of the major cities may not drop below 80 at night. The exclusive AccuWeather Heatwave Counter and Severity Index shows that several major cities in the Northeast, the Midwest, and interior South are facing a notable stretch of dangerous heat in the days leading up to and including the 4th of July holiday weekend. The index measures heat waves by both duration and intensity. A heat wave is defined as 3 or more consecutive days in which temperatures exceed a location-specific threshold. In New York City, Philadelphia, and Chicago, that threshold is 90 degrees. In Raleigh, the threshold is 95 degrees. The longer the heat lasts and the farther temperatures climb above those thresholds, the higher the heat wave ranks on the AccuWeather Heatwave Severity Index. AccuWeather real field temperatures will reach 100 for several hours in many locations from the plains to the Atlantic and Gulf coasts. Some of the hot spots, such as the major cities, will top 110 for a time on multiple days. The conditions will bring significant dangers not only for young children, the elderly, and those with fragile respiratory and cardiovascular conditions, but also anyone who will be partaking in manual labor or rigorous physical activity. Experts urge people to take breaks from the heat, seek shade, and remain hydrated, as the risk of heat exhaustion and heat stroke will be much higher during this prolonged and dangerous heat wave than on a typical summer day. Friends, family members, and neighbors are encouraged to check in regularly on the elderly who may attempt to isolate themselves from the heat by shutting their windows without air conditioning. So, when might this heat wave end? Well, heat domes, by their resilient nature, are tough to break down. High-pressure areas associated with them are a very stable atmospheric phenomenon. However, changes in the jet stream pattern near and afar can dismantle, shrink, or shift a heat dome. AccuWeather meteorologists expect the jet stream to shift just a bit starting later on in the week and progressing through the weekend. Now, this will cause the large dome to shrink at first from the north. As that occurs, heavy and gusty, potentially violent thunderstorms will develop as the ongoing ring of fire thunderstorms move toward the center of the shrinking dome. Next week, a new heat bubble may first develop near Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana before reforming and growing in size over the interior West. As a substantial shift in the weather pattern develops, a large dip in the jet stream seems likely to unfold in the east next week, bringing much lower temperatures and potentially leading to prolific shower and thunderstorm activity. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day, stay weather aware, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.